Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today, we need to have a little reflection regarding the Commander Masters with the upcoming Modern Horizons 3, MH3. No, that's not a new taco party pack. That's the new Magic set coming out. So, as of the filming of this video, Commander Master set boxes, which I was very critical and bearish on, were $325 for a store, and we were supposed to sell them for like $350 at release. Last year in the crash. I did not offer that product or sell it at release to patrons, you all, or any evil Rudy stuff, because I thought the downward pressure was going to be so substantial, it wasn't worth the risk reward or the anger of just skipping the product. Just skip it. So what happened was, Commander Master set boxes came out, and within 90 days, again, we were in the bear market crash last year. Within 90 days, they went from that $325 cost, or $350 on TCG Player, all the way down to a low, I think, of the mid-200s, maybe 230s to 260s. I don't remember the exact price on there, but it was really bad. It was nasty. So, at that point in time, a lot of clearance, fire sales, and panic were happening. I was able to get, I was able to get like 30 little cases or something. And I ran a little sale to patrons at that point in time for Commander Master set boxes to you all for like $259 shipped. A box times 6 boxes in a case, do the math. And even then, it really didn't, it sold very slowly. So we fast forward to today, and Commander Master set boxes are now back to a new high since, I guess, release date. They're back to $340 plus tax on TCG Player. I didn't expect to rebound that quickly on a modern reprint era product. But as we discussed in the last few videos, it doesn't seem to matter what set it is. The rubber band theory of the drawdown was so powerful the last 2 years, things were just oversold. And as we see that repricing adjustment back to things maybe where they should have been, it feels more intense on the swing because we went down so far, we're just undoing a lot of the declines. So when we say like, oh, record high or back to the beginning, you know, it's back to where it probably should have been. Like in my opinion, and I know this is a hot take and it'll make a lot of the Game Piece Army angry, but Commander Master set boxes, that's why I actually did some box openings on this channel, because I was like, were these really $300 to $400 boxes? Is this real? I mean, Wizards has raised the prices so much to capture and absorb that secondary market kind of money and pricing and equity that, you know, are these sustainable? Is this worth it? Well, after I did a couple box openings in the last few months on this channel of Commander Master set, I learned very quickly that, wow, these are $300 to $400 boxes. The problem is, when Hasbro WotC raises the price that high, it leaves no margin for the network of distribution, LGSs, Basement Dweller Rudies. It leaves no margin for anybody else in the ecosystem to buy, sell, and create that kind of flow of money economy, especially if you're in a bear market. Now we fast forward. Within 6 months, we went from a low of $240, $250, $260 a box, all the way back to the $340s plus tax. That's, sure, it's not $400 or $500 a box, which would really be impressive. But when you look how deep the market is, there's nothing left. I don't even know if there's 100 boxes on TCG Player and eBay combined. The upward movement's going to continue to be strong. And I don't think it's being led by speculation or sealed product investors. Those people are still very skeptical, they're burned, and I think it's actually being led by the single cards. Or as some of you all like to use the term, it's being led by utility and people buying the singles for either some Commander, Modern, or some sort of format where Magic's a card game. I don't know what that is. Email me if you know what Magic is. Apparently it's a card game, but I think you guys are bamboozling me. I thought those rectangle things were just currency. So, the reason we're kind of laying this out right now is because we're not talking about Outlaws of Thunder Junction right now. We're going to go right to the Modern Horizons 3 conversation. We know Modern Horizons 3 everybody knows it has Eldrazi's, and everybody knows there's some serialized cards, and everybody knows about the allied fetch lands. These aren't really secrets, everybody knows it. Wizards announced it, they disclosed it, we all been talking about it. The conversation around Modern Horizons 3 has simply been the price point. That's it. Amazon put the pre-orders up, and you're seeing collector boxes for $500, that kind of thing. That's the whole anger of the situation. No one's upset about Modern Horizons 3. Nobody's upset about Modern Horizons 1 or 2. Amazing products. Can't complain. But people are concerned about the price point once again. So what can we learn? What can we kind of derive from, I guess not even like Commander Masters, but in general, these master reprint sets or Modern Horizons sets they always sell very well. The problem is, in the last few years, Wizards has absorbed and pushed so hard on the market. It caused a lot of damage, and it really tilted the market into a really bad 2-year crash. The crash should have only been probably a year, maybe 15 months after the May 2021 peak, when the stock market and crypto and everything really peaked, and we entered that crash scenario. The problem was, a year into the crash, Hasbro said, hold my chalupa, Rudy. I'm not going to take you to the drive-thru, and now we're going to launch Magic 30. So as we're going down, they did the 1-2 Chuck Norris punch on your X, and we entered from a bear market to just Pound Town, USA. It was literally pound cake, Pound Town, hose town. They took the cake, wrapped it in a hose, and we literally just got stuck in the drive-thru. It was awful. So we had that perfect scenario of a bad market in Wizards making the worst possible corporate decision, thinking they were going to cash in on Magic 30 in the reserve list in non-playable game pieces to avoid breaking the whole thing. You know the history. And it was the biggest blow up in their face since the history of pornography. It was just, this is what it is. So, Modern Horizons 3. What I've learned is the market is going to be very rejecting of these high prices. Temporarily. At the beginning. We're going to see the capital requirements for this upcoming situation in the summer are going to be so intense. Like, for me to order a lot, it's going to require me to deploy $1 to $2 million in capital to place large orders for Modern Horizons 3. And even to scumbag Rudy levels, that's very concerning. I don't even know if that's something I should move forward with. I'm leaning towards skipping maybe one of the product lines. Maybe skipping the play boxes is it play box, I'm assuming, of Modern Horizons 3, and maybe just doing like a collector and a commander thing. Something like that. Give me feedback if you're a patron and you're actually curious. Should we do all three? Most people have told me already probably don't skip the commander because these specialty commanders are usually really loaded and really good. And obviously the collector box is going to have certain versions of fetch lands that you're not going to be able to get in others. And of course serialized cards, so we can't skip that. So the risk level is so massive, it makes me nervous. But the thing is, when you compare Ravnica Remastered Collectors with the Shocklands, and let's pretend that I emailed myself, and let's assume the track printing is going to be the same for the collector box, and you have the same 7 to 9 pools per 12-pack collector box for MH3 for fetch lands. Based on that assumption, those collector boxes are going to hold extremely well. And that is my concern / confident point of deploying money, I guess. But that still, if Shocklands can hold $10 to $30 a piece through a remastered product that had a lower price point, these fetch lands are going to hold the same, equal to, or greater than those numbers. Based on the average of 8 per collector box, even if they hold $20 a fetch land, that's almost $200 in value just in the rare fetch land slot, not including all the other rares, mythics, chase cards, versions, anything. You're already putting a safety net of almost $200 a collector box just from that first land cycle. And apparently there's 2 land cycles in it. That makes it very hard to still say $500 a collector box is appropriate and accurate, because a safety net at $200 is still nowhere near $500. That could easily retrace all the way down to that safety net. We could have an EV, if everything collapses and goes to zero, we could collapse down to that $250 EV. We can't go to inverted EV on these type of specialty products, because as we've learned and we've seen the last 3 months, the print run reductions and Hasbro's seriousness about making changes is finally flowed all the way through to the end consumer and us And we have seen the impacts of adjustments on supply. And that cannot be denied on everything from Wildsville Drain to Ixalan, all the way forward to Ravnica Remastered. And I mean, even the collapse of Karlov Manor Collector is still holding the 150s, I guess, is still better than I thought it would do, considering that it was the collapsed product or the Boulder's Gate of 2024. The supplies definitely do not feel as high as they were. And I guess, what does that mean? Do we take the risk of buying? I don't know what the store cost is of the collector box. It's got to be $300 to $400 range. I mean, which means you'd have to sell for even $50 over that to net shipping or fees or anything to even make $10-20 a box, and to risk the consumers being angry at your store for price gouging because they won't understand how expensive the products are. And that's where it gets very complicated, okay? I think the Commander decks are probably going to be your safest bet, which is why I think most people are excited about them. I mean, would you rather spend under $500 for Commander decks where you know you get all the epic cards and the power level, or gamble on a 12-pack collector, which for some people, that's great, they have a lot of fun, but for other people, the risk-reward is not worth it to them depending on their financial situation. So, in conclusion of this video, what does that mean? That means I expect there's going to be tremendous price swings at release. There's a good chance either A, the supply is reduced substantially through LGSs, similar to Fallout, and prices hold very strong. And there is always that probable chance that collector boxes could be severely restricted, and we have a bottleneck, and well, the collector box prices hold $400, $500, $600 a box. That is a very real possibility. And if you factor in the volume of fetch lands and serialized cards, you're going to have a lot of EV. The EV of this will be stronger than Ravnica collector boxes. And the fact that Wizards did what they did with Ravnica collectors, Lord of the Rings special holiday, Ixalan collectors, the fact that they are already engaged in alternative behavior, and we've seen the byproduct of higher prices of this, and now you have something like MH3 collectors, knowing that data, a Fallout, Ixalan, Ravnica, knowing that data, they've got plenty of lead time to adjust and do what they need to do. And I believe they're going to leverage that data, and they are going to make the collector boxes collectible and restrictive. And I think that's going to put a prevention on any... You're going to always have a few stores, and, oh, Rudy, I found this one price, and hopefully they don't cancel my order if it goes too high. That's the only downside is, you know, the good news is after the Fallout bottleneck order cancellation rampage, I think most of those stores are probably going to learn their lesson on not doing that until they get official allocation numbers. And again, I don't know why they do that. I know it's fear and capital and everything. It's always money. It always comes back to that. I still think we're going to see a temporary price swing of the panic I have to sell today mindset. But it's not going to, we don't know the true value of these things. That's the problem. The true value of these things could be substantially lower or substantially higher. You know, when Ixalan came out, that was standard. No fetch lands, no shot. It was a standard product that was just really good. Good power level and fun. When Ixalan came out, I struggled to sell those boxes for around the $200 a box, collector box. I struggled. I couldn't sell them all or nothing. I ran multiple specials afterwards and variety kits, and even then, I struggled to sell it. And as we learn now, months later, that the price point of around $200 a collector box for Ixalan was not the appropriate price, and the product had a lot more value and long-term pricing to it. We didn't know. We couldn't figure it out. And same thing with Lord of the Rings Special. That came out in the holidays of the bear market last year, and it was just trashed on everybody. I think I was the only dumbass doing tons of box openings on the Lord of the Rings Special, getting ridiculed nonstop and everything, and I was having a blast. One of my favorite box opening videos to do in modern times, and I was blown away. The value and the chases and the Nazi G's, the Bowmasters, the posters, the serialized, the landslide. I mean, it was an amazing product. And well, 3-4 months later, the market realized how misappropriately priced it was. And it went from that 270s, 260s, 280s, and now it's all-time highs of over 400 something. And that's an incredible move for a premium product in less than 12 months. That's incredible. And you got to give credit to this kind of stuff. It's an incredible move. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think as we approach this, Similar to Lord of the Rings, Ixalan, and Ravnica, you're going to see a lot of negativity. Online social media people have their hot takes, and they're going to be very pessimistic, and how can we support this? These prices are absurd. And all those hot takes are true. Can't bash those people. They're using common sense and logic, and that does make common sense accurate, and that is logical. The problem is, you almost got to be a obsessive, distorted brain goofball like me who sees the world in weird colors and digital numbers. You almost have to literally sniff a bunch of the Wizard's ink nonstop to see what I see, and I think it's going to work, and I think the whole online social media market is going to be focused on noise and complaints on the pricing, and I think all the attention is going to be in that direction. And I don't think most YouTubers, influencers, I don't know, all these internet people that are supposed to be like, I guess, better than me or like me, or maybe got better hair than me, or more of my hair. I'm losing mine. I think people are going to have a hard time seeing the real value. And I think the market's going to have a hard time pricing it until we hit that release +3, release +6 months. And at that point in time, as with the last 3, 4, 5 sets, excluding Carlo's Foreclosed Manor, most stores will miss out. And I think that's going to be a continuing reoccurrence moving forward, because I don't think people want to accept what's really going on. And that is, as I've said, for the last 6 months, we bottomed in October, November of last year. We are 5 to 6, we are entering month 6, okay, of a new market cycle with prices repricing across the board and everything rising. We got talking older products from previous eras, pre-2020, new products, COVID era products, everything. And a lot of people don't really want to accept and discuss that because it doesn't either fit their conversation or their narratives, that's the wording they use, or it doesn't really fit the whole, wow, things are actually getting better, because it doesn't fit good, it doesn't make good content. I mean, that's all it is, folks. I mean, fuck, it just doesn't make good content. You know, these type of videos on this channel where we discuss this direction and trend, it's not dramatic. It's not Rudy screaming about Mark Bottom water. It's not really filled with emotion. I mean, this is just, we are in a good market cycle again. Okay, and I haven't seen a good market cycle like this since probably 2020, 2021. We've been through 2 years of shit. And it's going to take, I almost want to say, by the time people realize that we've shifted, and I feel like by the time the perma bears realize how good the magic market has shifted, that's how we know that we're probably near a top again. How about that? By the time the people who are negative kind of throttle back and say, well, yeah, the last 10 sets have been decent. We've had, 1 or 2 do bad, but the other 10 have been great. By the time those people turn a corner, most of the opportunity is gone. Easy money's been made. The last 2 years was the opportunity of a lifetime, in my opinion, to buy like new magic and everything. The collapses in the last 2 years, in the downturns, in the fire sale prices, when we saw major Amazon dumps, which we don't anymore, those were the opportunities. And I made videos on it. People laugh. But we can now say with pretty high degree of certainty, those were definitely that was when the smart money made moves, and that was when probably the easiest returns were done. I'm not saying there's not opportunity moving forward, but we've said this is magic over many booms and bust market cycles. We look at Pokemon, same thing. We need to do a full Pokemon update video. Pokemon's been wild. And, it's just, I'll end this video going on Pokemon, and I'll comment again on Sorcery. In the XY era, when I first got heavy into Pokemon in 2017, the amount of criticism I was met with going big on these Roaring Skies, Primal Clash, Ancient Origins, Fates Collide, Breakthrough, Breakpoint, Evolutions, it was quite fascinating to see the market and the internet's the consensus opinion of social media and Backpage, Reddit, Discord, and everything, and MySpace, and all these people had such a negative attitude in the XY Pokemon era. And I remember that time, and I was very confused by it. But then, to their credit of all the naysayers, I did get hosed in that era. I didn't do very well, and I got stuck, and hence the Rudy's Pokemon bathroom was born. Same thing. Then we went to Sun and Moon era, and it got worse. Everybody was hosed from XY, Sun and Moon was even worse. Everybody just reduced orders. The print runs were, I don't think people realize how low print runs are in Sun and Moon era. And that's a whole different conversation. And then we went to we went to Sword and Shield. And people just love Sword and Shield. And I'll be out of the last, through XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet. I've been doing this for all these eras and blocks. I can tell you the general positivity was off the chart with Sword and Shield. So again, I will restate my opinion. Not a Pokemon video today, but you think Sword and Shield prices of Fusion Strike in 200s, Evolving Skies pushing 6, 7, 8, 900, and Chilling Rain at 200, if you think these prices are high, boy, you're going to have to hold my hand, and we're going to have to prancercise through Central Park because you can't handle what's coming. I will say the same thing I said 1 year ago, and 18 months ago, and 2 years ago. Under $500 a box for anything, Sword and Shield. Find the worst set in Sword and Shield. Battle Styles, how about that? Anything under 500, yeah, hot take, is still a good opportunity. And if you don't believe me, go back to previous eras of Pokemon. Go back to XY and Sun and Moon. That was when I was doing my playground playday stuff too. And I look back at this stuff, and the Sword and Shield is better than those eras. And if those eras can be that, and then we go to the Scarlet Violet, the same thing. The same history repeats of people who give up, and it's almost humorous, but it's almost sad, but it's almost like, it almost feels too good to be true many times, because there are moments, if you are stable and you have the capital and you have the time, the long-term opportunity is just absolutely insane. And it blows my mind that regular people just can't seem to wrap their ball sack around that. So let's end the video on Sorcery. The next 7 days, you're going to see multiple Sorcery videos and reveal videos coming up. It is going to be fucking massive. Okay, it is going to be controversial. The artwork is just pure Van Gogh beauty of women in sorcery and art in 1980s. It's just fucking beautiful. And we're going to reveal the playmat. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to share the assembly line. We're going to pump this thing up, and we're going to go. And it's going to be a really special moment in a wild time. It's been almost 6 months in the works. I don't want to say I'm burnt out on it, but it's been a very difficult 5 months trying to get this thing put together with a lot of setbacks and delays. And I don't want to say it this way, but I just want to bring it to market. I want to get this rolling because I've been dealing with it hanging over me for so long. And the space and the work behind the scenes has just been ridiculous. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be limit 1 per patron. There are 2,000 kits instead of 1,000. As you all know, the first Sorcery sale, when we revealed the card, the promo, and the PCG slab with the special laser engraved logo and everything, and it looks amazing. We sold all 1,000 in 3.5 minutes. So I'm hoping with 2,000, a lot more of the patrons are still going to have an opportunity. Of course, keep in mind, even 2,000 kits is nowhere near enough for every patron to buy one. That's still nowhere near, not even close. So I'm hoping it doesn't sell out in a couple minutes, but at the same time, be aware it is going to be a big deal. And yes, similar to the first kit that was $670 or something, $670, $669, $69, whatever. We're going to keep the price range almost identical between that. We're not going above the $699, and that includes a special fancy playmat this time. So we are going to keep the pricing almost identical, a couple bucks higher, a couple bucks different, so nobody knows the exact number to send early and game the system. And it's going to be a beautiful thing, and I'm so excited to share that with you all. Last but not least, we are going to start selling Ixalan for $89 a box on the first of the month. I know a lot of you are all excited. We're going to be doing Thunder's Junction of Back to the Future Part 3 in the Western with Commander decks, and we're going to be doing all that fun stuff. In May, we've got the epic new Mistveil Flesh and Blood set with an exclusive promo and all kinds of fun stuff with Flesh and Blood. We had a great time with Heavy Hitters. Heavy Hitters was definitely far better than the last few sets. It was an absolutely home run. I expect this one to be similar. And last but not least, I want to end the video on just saying, we talked about Commander Masters. We talked about Modern Horizons 3. We talked about the Sorcery thing. We talked about Pokemon. We talked about this Flesh and Blood. I just want to comment to you all. If you strip emotion out of a lot of this stuff, there is so much opportunity in this world, not just in cardboards and chemicals and rectangles. The opportunity in this world is massive for people who are willing to go the distance, take risk, work really hard, and kind of outperform the average person. I'll say it 20 times over before I end this video. I'm nowhere near the smartest person. I don't know everything. I make a ton of mistakes. Look at me. I mean, that's common sense. But what I do know I have going for me is in the last 20 years, I've saved, invested, and built up tremendous money and wealth. And then I layer that on top of the ability to have more patience and time than 99% of Americans and people in this country. And I have the ability to outweight most people. And being able to outweight and leveraging time against the market and my competitors or the unhappy people, I know my success rate will be higher than 50%. And based on that simple formula, the opportunity long term is just almost uncomprehendable. And for those of you watching, you can do similar things in similar fields or different opportunities, different fields, different skill. It takes 5 to 10 years of anything in this world nonstop to master something. Okay? So when you're at year 15 through 20 like me, you become very good at things. And you learn that even the memes and terminologies and the negativities or the heavy bags, you learn that what can you do with it? What are your choices? And if you have the discipline and patience and the time, and you have the resources, which if you shouldn't be taking dramatic risks if you don't have the resources, if you have the certain capability and mindset, you can have a good percentage success ratio. And you don't have to have 100%. And you need to be comfortable with being wrong. You need to be comfortable with failing. You need to be comfortable with getting things inaccurate. And as long as you're able to outlast and kind of stay the course, you will win the long game. And I know that's not a sexy, fun thing to do. It's not exciting. It's not dramatic. But it does work. It takes time, but it does work. Hope that helps some people out there. Again, reduced videos in April due to the Sorcery launch, the Outlaws of the DeLorean launch, and of course going into May with the Flesh and Blood launch and everything. Hope you'll have a great day. Giggity.